Hey guys, Krisha here. Please be cautious of any fake comments and emails you may receive from people pretending to be Mango Research. Sean and I will never, ever contact you for investment opportunities or anything of that sort. To get in touch with the real Mango team, make sure to join our official Discord chat using the link in the description below. Stay safe out there, and remember, do it Mango. And what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha. And this is today's Zilliqa analysis video. I have Sean with me today. Sean, say hi.
Good morning, everyone.
So Sean, ZIL USDT today, and are you looking at this chart right now? It is bloody bullish. Beautiful chart.
No, I was just going to say, Zilliqa has been one of the charts that has been the most rewarding to the people who are patient, and also ironically the most punishing to people who weren't, right? It didn't make it easy for you if you had even the slightest bit of impatience, but hey, we'll talk about that later into the video.
Indeed. Okay, so guys, on today's agenda, we'll essentially be going over the Mango dashboard because I want to see what the dashboard is telling us about Zilliqa's overarching trend. I think that's pretty obvious right off the bat, but the dashboard has been pretty good at nailing the start of the trend, Sean. So we'll be going over the Mango dashboard. In addition to that, we'll be talking about ZIL USDT. Okay, so that's one pairing, as well as ZIL BTC. However, we will only be covering the higher timeframes for ZIL BTC. But hey, I have a bonus for all you guys out there. The thing is that Zilliqa, Sean, is currently in price discovery, right? It's a beautiful bullish trend. But the thing is that where to from here? Right, that is the next question. Where to from here? How far can ZIL go before we actually see that next sort of resistance? All right. Now, for that, I have fresh targets for you guys using all the concepts that Sean actually taught me in the seed program. So without further ado, let's start this. Okay, so I'm going to first pan on over to my Mango dashboard.
So I just want to throw in there, guys, that it's becoming something very common where I'm teaching her these concepts, but she goes ahead and takes it to the next level and she becomes better at it than even I am. So she comes up with these targets that are so precise, so to the point that, I'm like, how did you get that? So yeah, she's giving me more credit than I deserve.
But these are all clues though, right? For the Mango seedlings. There's so much that you can just take from the program and you can make out of it. It's like, it's seriously, it's the core foundations at the end of the day. But okay. Sean, I'm currently on the daily time frame on the Mango dashboard. Okay, I'm going to filter out ZIL on this list. And as you can see here, ZIL USDT, guys, gave us a long bullish trend change, which came in a week ago. Okay, this came in 7 days ago. And if you caught a trade based on this, you are already up 22%. Okay, a nice, good, chunky move there. ZIL BTC. Now, this is what I think is interesting, Sean. We just sort of, took a quick look at the ZIL BTC chart, and notice this. ZIL BTC also gave us a long trend change that came in 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you took a trade on this, you're currently up 5% already against Bitcoin.
No, I'm just browsing through, or rather tapping through all the time frames, right? The 4 hour, the 12 hour, the daily, and the 2-day, the 4-day, and the weekly. And again, what the dashboard's telling me is sitting in line with what I just mentioned at the beginning of the video, that the people who are playing the lower time frames, the people who are impatient, rather, are the ones getting punished the most and missing out on the gains Zilliqa has given. Like, it's outperformed Bitcoin since the beginning of this year, right? But if you look at, like you said, on the daily, it switched 7 days ago. Again, you have to wait 1 week for your 22% gains, which isn't bad. But let's look at the 2 high time frames that Mango always recommends watching, right? Which is the weekly and the 4-day time frame, which is the Mango time frame. But if you had literally done nothing for the past 2 months, nothing, and just been in the trade since it started, if you guys were interested in Zilliqa, had other theses as well that lined up with the dashboard giving you the long signal around 2 months ago, well, you're 62% up, right?
Yeah.
That was if you're playing the weekly time frame, which is, by the way, as Mango as it gets, right? If you have a full-time job, a family, you're really busy, all you need to do is be making a decision 1 time a week, right? That's all, right? You can even be on vacation for the entire week. Just open up your charts on the Sunday and make your decision as to whether you get in, get out, or do nothing. If the weekly is too much for you, what do we recommend is the 4-day time frame. And Krisha, the 4-day, look at that. It gave you the trend signal to go long again 7 hours ago.
Yeah.
And you already captured that 20% of the gain, right?
Damn, I didn't notice this. ZIL USDT actually, guys, it flipped long 7 hours ago. And if whoever caught this one, you guys are already up 20%. That's pretty insane. This is giving me a sort of, a nudge that, hey, Krisha, bull market is here. Altcoin, the alt cycle is here, rather. Right.
And guys, this is the kind of thing that I always ask you guys to do, is to kind of figure out the genetic fingerprint of a certain asset. Zilliqa is telling you that it will reward you if you're patient.
Yeah. So now getting onto the charts and talking about this fingerprint of a certain asset, I think Zilliqa is one of those, one of the few coins out there that actually has a very, it's a very consistent signature on Zilliqa's chart, which makes it very easy to play. Now, the signature that I personally found on this was on the 4-hour time frame. We'll go over that in a bit. But what I want to first pull up, Sean, is the weekly time frame, because we did open a brand new weekly candle yesterday, right? Yeah. So if you pull up your weekly time frame, I actually had a target rather, okay, because, well, Zilliqa was in price discovery, or rather is still in price discovery. I had a target at 21 cents. Okay, and I was looking for price to close over that 21-cent region in order for me to look for that bullish continuation to the upside. And as things sort of unfolded last week, we actually had a clear close over that region at 21 cents.
A pretty convincing candle at that too.
Exactly. And I want you to notice the overarching trend here. It is bullish as hell, okay? But notice how neat it is. So I currently have the Mango Dynamic pulled up on my chart, so you can just go ahead and pull that one up. And you'll notice how well it's been trending just against the dynamic, right? We have that consolidation here. This was below around that 2-cent region. Okay, we consolidated against that resistance, which was also, when we broke that, Sean, we broke a beautiful cup and handle formation. Okay, for those of you who did not see it, this was the nice, beautiful cup and handle formation that had a nice break to the upside. Okay, that's when the dynamic turned bullish. Okay, we got that bullish trend being set in. We had a nice retest of that resistance now turned into support, which also lined up with the op line on the dynamic. Now, for those of you who actually have the dynamic, you guys know how powerful the op line is in catching those bids, right? When there's a trend that has been established, suddenly you're like, okay, fine, where do I place my bid? You don't want to be catching tops. That op line helps you optimize your bids. Right? And that's what happened here. We had a nice test and then a beautiful run to the upside.
It freaking 10x'd since then. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And did it so quietly. Like, you didn't see the amount of excitement on Zilliqa that you usually would, right? Like in the last altcoin rally when Zilliqa was moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is...
So it's
I feel like...
Sorry, go on.
I think it yet has to have its impulsive move. I don't think it's had that yet. So
no, and I'm noticing you're right in that there's not a lot of eyes on ZIL just yet. Okay, nothing like what we saw in last summer, and I believe that was this run right here, guys. Okay, this was the run last summer, and there was a lot more hype in this run than we're seeing right now on ZIL. But okay, so I've put on my my Ichimoku cloud as well, Sean, on the weekly time frame, and this is a beautiful picture. Even on the Ichimoku cloud, we have that TK, that bullish TK cross that is intact. The 21 EMA is sloping up aggressively. What about the 10? And we're currently being even propped up by the weekly 10 SMA. But the thing is that just looking at this picture, it's telling me that hey, ZIL is trending on something much lower than even the weekly time frame, right? So I'm gonna quickly get on over to my daily time frame. Okay, and I want to see what ZIL is doing here. Now, what do you see here right off the bat on the daily time frame, Sean? And I'll give you my thoughts on it.
My thoughts are that people should not be even looking at this on the daily time frame. Those are my thoughts. That you're more likely gonna have someone on the chart is looking to wick people out of their positions, is what I'm trying to see. That's what I'm seeing over and over again. But again, these are kind of things that people who aren't as experienced may not see, because I'm seeing trend structure break on a wick basis and then continue back on over to the upside. I'm seeing this chart screaming at me saying, hey, play it on the high time frames if you want to stay within the trend. But then again, if you're only looking at the candle closes, it's holding the trend.
Yeah, and these are like the small signatures that you have that you see on certain charts, right? So you just noted one on ZIL where it breaks structure only for the candle, guys, to then come back up to close over a very, very important region of support. Right, so that is one signature on this chart. There's another one that I'm seeing on ZIL. Okay, now this is something that I noticed. Someone brought it up on Twitter. Saw this on crypto Twitter, where someone was looking at this rising wedge. Okay, now
Wait,
rising
crypto Twitter. Since when did you start reading crypto Twitter?
Oh no, I mean, I'm always keeping track of the trends and what's trending out there, and I also look at the altcoins to see what people are looking at.
No, it's good. It's good.
Right?
I'm just wondering, like, maybe I should be doing this. maybe I'm out of the loop.
No, but so ZIL. So people have been looking at this pattern on ZIL, which was a rising sort of wedge. Do you see it on the daily time frame?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you something, guys. Now, a rising wedge on a technical standpoint is supposed to be a bearish pattern, okay? But what makes this bearish, and this is something that Sean and we keep repeating, is the break. It's the break of the pattern that makes it bearish. Why? Because if you look at the overall structure, what you need to understand, okay, before the break, this is bloody bullish as hell. Okay, we have a high here, we have a higher high, and then on top of that, guys, we have a series of higher lows as well. What you need to understand about bearish patterns in a bull market is that oftentimes you'll see patterns like this actually see trend continuation to the upside. Okay, so be very, very careful in playing bearish patterns, and rather jumping the gun on a bearish pattern in a bull market. Let's put it that way. Okay, so be careful. Do not hang on to these kind of patterns. Assess it. Fine, you have the pattern in front of you, great, but have other regions of invalidation. Now, I see that we've taken out a major region of resistance at 21 cents, and we're holding it as support, right? Sorry, Sean, you wanted to say something?
No, exactly that, right? Like, don't just short into the pattern thinking that, hey, it's bearish, so it's a good short opportunity. You got to wait for the validation that the pattern is actually going in your direction, because the pattern that is considered bearish is actually a bullish trend, typically a bullish trend towards the upside. And the reason it's considered bearish is because people are waiting for the trend to break, right? So what you're actually doing by front running a pattern is you're playing against the trend, or you wait for the break instead, and then you're in the direction of the trend again.
Exactly. But now question is, at what point do we really see that trend continuation? Now, Sean, I'm going to bring up my targets for everyone out there, okay? Let's get a drum roll. As you guys can see here, I got my targets hidden. So we'll go and boom, bring it up. All right, so right now the targets that I'm looking at for ZIL, I do believe that Zilliqa has penetrated a new price zone of sorts, okay? The price zone being from 21 cents going all the way up to this region right here at around 28 cents. Okay, but I'm going to be looking at this as trend continuation and a breakout of the overall rising wedge as soon as we start living over this region right here, which is at around 24 cents, which is also the midpoint, Sean, that I'm looking at. Now, you know that I've been really eyeing those midpoints in terms of, trying to figure out whether it's going to see continuation or not. Right.
So if this does break towards the downside, Kusha, like, okay, if it does break towards the upside, we're going to see the trend continue up and up and up. And by the way, guys, if this does break towards the upside, it's going to break the shape of the rising wedge, and then you're going to be looking at a completely new structural pattern, which may form over maybe weeks, right? But at the moment, people who are eyeing this rising wedge, you guys are looking at the horizontal, like Krisha mentioned, at around 20 cents. We did break that towards the upside within the wedge. So as a bear over here, if you are bearish on this, you should be feeling a little bit antsy. Now, one way to play this is to try to hunt for a short right at the midpoint that Krisha talked about at around 24 cents, I believe, which is lining up with the rising wedge. Okay, so I wouldn't be too comfortable with that. But then let's talk about downside targets, right? If we do break this towards the downside, Kusha, I have a target of around 15 cents and then a target to 10.5 cents, which actually does line up with a potential measured move of the channel. But that's towards the downside, guys. And in a bull market, betting on the downside is But hey, it's good to keep these targets in mind.
Yeah.
So that way, at the very least, if you're overexposed towards the upside, you're like, hey man, this is breaking towards the downside. This could come all the way down to 10.5 cents if I don't risk manage. So that's why it's always good to look at both sides of the market, guys. Okay, look at what the bulls are thinking, look at what the bears are thinking, and position yourself accordingly.
Exactly. But yeah, ZIL USDT, guys, is in bullish territory. Okay, I'm more bullish on this chart than bearish. It's hard. I mean, look at the trend. It's a pretty freaking aggressive. So ZIL USDT here. You want to pan on over to ZIL BTC, Sean?
Yeah.
Perfect. You were looking at ZIL BTC, so I'm going to let you start this one off. I'm currently on the weekly time frame.
Well, the past 3 weeks for ZIL BTC have been just fabulous, right? It essentially cleared a weekly resistance that I've been looking at all the way since back in 2020 May, right? I was looking at this level coming in at around 290 to 300 Satoshi, and we smacked up against it back in that altcoin rally. But then we smacked up against it again in early December, got rejected hard, and again and again and again, we kept smacking up against it, and now we finally cleared it. This was around the first week of March, I believe. Close a candle above it, retested that level at around 290 Satoshi. You see that one retest was good enough for the next final week, the third week, to have a nice, strong, bullish candle, continuation towards the upside after that was the market telling you that, all right, cool. We believe that this resistance level is officially claimed by the bulls and it is now a support level because we've closed above it, we've retested it, got one final touch of it, and now off to the freaking races. Not only did we see a bullish candle close, Kusha, we saw these bullish candle closes take out all the important highs, right? The most important one being around 371 Satoshi, right? And now look at that weekly candle close, because your next weekly resistance on a candle closing basis was coming in from the candle closes of 2018, Krisha.
Yeah.
This was a level that hasn't been claimed since 2018 November. We just reclaimed that as well in that one candle. We took out the highs, we saw the continuation, and reclaimed that candle close of around 360 Satoshi. As a Bitcoin trader, if you're trading this against the Bitcoin pairing to collect Bitcoin, well, this is a opportunity right over here because we are retesting that level at around 350 Satoshi, right? Now, do we close above it? We'll find out in 5 days and 17 hours, but it's looking strong. Nonetheless, the trend is aggressive.
Oh my god, good freaking catch on this. Actually did not spot the fact that we actually took out multi-year resistance there. Guys, this is strong. Yeah. And this is something that I'm noticing on a lot of the altcoins right now, and it is possibly the first sign of the next run, right? It's the fact that many of these altcoins are taking out very important regions of resistance, okay, multi-year resistance against Bitcoin. And so this is giving me good feels, Sean. It's giving me very, very bullish feels on the altcoins right now. But yeah, guys, definitely. Now, this right here, what Sean really mentioned to you, is a very good trade setup. Because what really makes a trade a good trade, it is how easy it is for you to manage that trade. Okay, now this is something that I'd mentioned in my video from yesterday. I believe I did XRP. It was when you see trade setups like this, you pretty much have an invalidation point baked right into your trade setup, right? Yeah. And it's pretty much giving it to you on a platter. So if price does break to the downside, and if we start seeing candle body closes underneath 348, or even this region right here, which is 291, I'll just say 348 because we're closer to that, you know that you've been invalidated on your trade, right? So you can extrapolate information from the chart and come up with some really, really good trade setups for yourself.
Yeah. And you can just reposition, right? Let's say you start closing a weekly candle underneath there. You're like, all right, cool. I'll just reposition myself when the trade looks good again. Either, again, when we retake 350, or I'll reposition myself. Currently, I'm looking at major support at 290 Satoshi, which, by the way, Krisha, is lining up with the weekly dynamic that I just pulled up. I'm not sure if you have yours up, but if you pull up the weekly dynamic, ever since we started reclaiming that weekly dynamic, we've not closed underneath it at all, right? We kept retesting it, accumulating against it before the major break of that level around 292. And guess what? The dynamic is lining up with that level too. So there's two ways to play this, right? You look for continuation from right over here. Essentially, you're playing a support and resistance play on a trend continuation basis. And in that case, I'd be looking for a target of around 500 Satoshis. So look at that. That win over there is probably around 45%. I believe it's 42%. So 42% towards the upside. I'm completely fine taking a few percent loss if I do have to reposition further down at around 280, 290 Satoshi to get the same win. But this time, the win now is going to be a 73%. So even if it breaks down and I have to reposition at a lower price, that's fine. I'll take the loss, right? Remember, at Mango, we are champion losers. No community knows how to lose better than us. We will lose, take the small loss, and hunt for the next big win at around 70% is what we can capture. So that's what you do. Keep trading, keep taking the same trade opportunities over and over again. And in the long run, with the right Mango mindset, you will become really profitable on this.
Exactly. Well said. It's important to know when to take the loss off the table. Yeah. Very, very important. Keeps you in the game longer. Also, Sean, also got quick measured move for you guys. Sean, the next measured move, at least for this cup and handle that we saw a breakout of, that would take ZIL all the way up to 649 sats.
Ooh.
649 sats. Wow. Pretty freaking amazing, eh? But yeah, that's going to be a nice heavy move from where price is at right now to 649. That's a good 78% of the upside.
That actually lines up with the next target I have after 500. So I have 646 Satoshi marked on my chart over here. So first target, if you do see continuation immediately, is around 510 Satoshi. Next target, 646. So yeah.
Big moves yet to be, met on ZIL. So yeah, this is all we have for you for Zilliqa, ZIL USDT, as well as ZIL BTC. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And we will see you guys soon. Sean, any final notes?
Nope. Do it the Mango way. Do it the stress-free way. Do it the easy breezy way.
Perfect. Ciao, you guys.